I was never born a monster. I was made. Made in the fire of Brooklyn, made in the bloodstained mats of a gym where no one gave a damn who you were unless you could bleed for it. People see the knockouts, the belts, the headlines, but they don't know about the fear. They don't know that every time I stepped into that ring, I was scared and terrified. But I learned something that most people never do. Fear doesn't make you weak. Emotion doesn't have to be your enemy. It's what you do with it. That's what separates the average from the legends. You can cry before the fight, but when the bell rings, you better be a killer. That's what Cuss taught me. Discipline will make you a god. Emotion will make you a slave. That belief turned a scared little boy into the youngest heavyweight champion in history. And I did it not because I was stronger, but because I learned to master myself. People used to think I was fearless, but the truth, I was scared all the time. I used to cry before my fights, not because I was weak, but because I knew who I had to become. When I stepped through those ropes, I had to kill the scared little boy from Brownsville, the one who was abused, humiliated, and tossed around like garbage. That boy had to die so the warrior could live, but fear never left me. I just learned to use it. Cuss taught me that. He said, fear is like fire. If you control it, it'll cook for you. If you don't, it'll burn everything down. And he was right. And most people don't get that. They think showing emotion makes you real and authentic, but no matter if it's in the ring or in life, emotion is a trap. It clouds your vision, it weakens your focus, and it forces you to react instead of think. You get hit, and instead of defending, you explode. And just like that, you've lost your plan and the fight. I've seen fighters fall apart before the first punch because they let fear grip them. Not the pain, but the thought of pain. That's what pressure is. Not being hit, but the fear of being hit. And if you let that fear become emotion, it controls you. And if it controls you, then you've already lost. Look, I didn't become champion because I was angry. I became champion because I learned how to channel anger. I didn't scream, didn't flinch, didn't fold. I used that rage to train harder. I used that fear to move faster, and I turned every ugly feeling into fuel. That's what most men never understand. They hold on to the emotion like it's who they are, the heartbreak, the rage, the guilt. They replay it in their heads, and it becomes their identity. But I had to change the channel because if I didn't, I would have ended up dead or in prison. So here's the truth. Emotion might make you human, but discipline makes you dangerous. Master your feelings or be mastered by them. That's how I became a killer in the ring, not by being fearless, but by never letting fear wear the crown. People always ask me, Mike, what made you great? They're always looking for some secret trick, but the truth is simple. I gave my soul to the grind. Training wasn't something I did, it was who I was. While kids were outside playing, I was in the gym, bleeding. When others were sleeping, I was running miles around them. When they were chasing girls, I was chasing the legacy of many great fighters. My number one rule was to outwork, outsuffer, and outlast all my enemies. To me, training was religion, and Cuss, he was my preacher. He didn't just teach me how to punch, he taught me how to live. Every day was war, not with my opponents, but with myself. He'd tell me, do what you hate, but do it like you love it. That's discipline. That's the foundation of every champion. See, most people only work when they feel good. They train when they're motivated. But greatness doesn't wait on your feelings. Your emotions are liars. One day they'll tell you you're a king. The next day they'll tell you you're trash. I trained to silence those voices. I trained because I was broken, and the gym was the only place that made me feel whole. I trained to become the man I needed when I was a scared little boy. People don't realize the pain you run from is the very thing that will shape you. And I ran into the pain. Every bag I hit, every round I sparred. It wasn't just about beating the guy in front of me, it was about beating the guy in the mirror. That soft, insecure kid who didn't think he was enough. I beat him every day with every rep, every mile, every drop of sweat. And when I stepped into that ring, I was already a winner because the work had already been done. The hard part wasn't the fight. The hard part was the lonely hours when no one was watching, when no one cared. That's where champions are made. I didn't become the youngest heavyweight champion because I was lucky. I became champion because I gave everything to discipline. It was my compass. I trained to be a monster, not just physically, but mentally. Cuss used to say, the body can only go where the mind leads it. So he built my mind first. He broke me down, then rebuilt me with belief, repetition, and discipline. And let me tell you something, there's nothing in this world more powerful than belief. Not talent, not money, not genetics, just belief applied through action, day after day and hour after hour. People want greatness, but they don't want the process. They want the belt, not the bruises. But in this world, you earn your place with sweat. And if you're not willing to bleed for it, you don't deserve it. So if you ask me what it takes obsession. It takes pain. It takes years of doing the same thing over and over until your mind is carved into steel. Because at the end of the day, discipline isn't about the gym. It's not about punching harder or running faster. It's about building a life where excuses don't exist. And that's why I say training is religion. Because when you submit to it, you don't just become strong, you become free. I didn't wake up one day and become great. I didn't stumble into the ring and knock out legends by accident. I earned every ounce of it. Every scar, every cheer, and every ounce of fear I swallowed, it was all part of the price. You don't just wake up and become the heavyweight champion of the world. You pay for it with pain, with discipline, with sacrifice. You earn it in silence when no one's watching. People see the glory, but not the graveyard I had to climb out of. I came from nothing. I was the kid nobody believed in, who was just a product of the streets, full of rage, fear, and confusion. But I had something most don't. I was willing to lose everything to become something. Greatness doesn't come to those who want it. It comes to those who can't live without it. Every time I trained, I wasn't preparing for a fight. I was preparing for life. Life hits harder than any opponent. It throws betrayal, heartbreak, addiction, ego, death, and it doesn't stop there. So you can't stop either. You have to build yourself into something indestructible. And that's what I did. I took every insult, every doubt, every tear, and turned it into fuel. But I'll tell you something people don't want to hear. Greatness costs you. It'll cost your comfort. It'll cost fake friends. It'll cost your peace sometimes. You'll bleed for it. You'll go to war with yourself for it. But if you survive that war, if you come out on the other side, no one can take it from you. I lost myself plenty of times. Fame, women, money, it all tried to take my soul. And for a while it did, but deep down the work I put in, the blood I spilled, the hours I sacrificed, they stayed. And that's what saved me. Because when the lights go off, when the crowd stops cheering, it's only you and your reflection. And in that moment, you'll know, did I give it everything I had? Did I live up to who I was meant to be? Or did I let emotion, fear, and comfort win? I can't promise you it'll be easy. But I can promise you this, if you put discipline over emotion, if you train when it's hard, if you keep going when the world says stop, you won't just win, you'll become something unforgettable. That's what greatness is. It's not loud, it's not always pretty, but it's earned and it's worth every step. You've heard my story, you've seen what discipline can do. Now the question is, what will you do? Are you going to let your emotions run your life? Or are you going to master them? Are you going to keep wishing or start working? Every legend starts the same way. One choice, one moment, one step into the fire. So get up, train, control your mind, and earn your greatness just like I did. Discipline over emotion always. That's the Tyson way. And here's the perfect video to teach you my discipline.